$13,000 a month. What more do you want from me? Oh my. $13,000 a month. What more do you want from me? All right, my crying is terrible. All right, so let's talk about this really quickly. No, that's not the new video. I think it's the old one, but I thought I should talk about this really quickly. Men crying, Tyrese crying, right? Biological and social differences. When it comes to the gender war, they tend to come up as talking points on either side. On both sides. So, gentlemen, let me talk to you for a second. If you're saying the same talking point and the feminazis are saying the same talking point, at some point you got to be like, okay, something cancels out. We're not moving forward. If they're using the same talking point, just polar opposites, when you bring them together, they cancel out. They don't create sexual polarity, but they cancel out, right? And also, this is not people that you're necessarily in romantic relationships with, but you're having romantic conversations with them. At what point are you going to say, you know what, this is not working out? We're having the wrong conversation with the wrong people. It's like double dose of terrible, right? And this is a problem, right? So again, I was just listening and somebody said biological differences and tendencies, it tends to. This was a woman that was saying this. Was a feminazi that was saying this. A feminazi, she's somewhat feminazi, but she's camouflaged a little bit like a chameleon, right? You know them, right? And she was saying that tend to. The way that men who are in the manosphere who are repeating these talking points tend to say that is that's the exception. That's not the rule. That's what they tend to say, right? And it's the same thing. You're saying the same thing. It cancels out. She says women tend to, men tend to. That doesn't mean that men and women are not equal, which she's wrong about that. They're absolutely different. And she goes forward to say men and women different is no different from this person being different from the next person. That's also false. That's a disingenuous way to engage that debate. Is not accurate. Now, the reason why I don't debate with this kind of people and I rather do a YouTube channel, there are two reasons. Number one, this is a business for me. I make money with this. Number two is that I can't. I don't have the bandwidth for it. I'm too busy for that, right? And there's too many. Also, okay, number three, there's too many layers. There's too many layers to this argument because she's actually kind of right that one person is different from the other person, but that wasn't the conversation. The conversation is a man different from a woman? When everything else is equal, is a man still different from a woman? Yes. The answer is yes. There's no for multiple different layers of reason, but yes, we can group it down to biological, which is very obvious. Biological, a man creates the seed, a woman multiplies the seed. We don't need to complicate that, okay? Okay, that's just my belief system, whatever. Okay, but if you agree with me, you can hit the thumbnail, right? But also, yes, at a psychosocial level, the way a woman is socialized in any society around this planet, Earth, right? It's different from how a typical man is socialized. Yes, it's different from places to places, from culture to culture, but just, again, if everything else were equal, the way a man is socialized is different from how a woman is socialized. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3-times author. Those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. Now, when you find yourself competing, if you find yourself in this conversation and you have a whole lot of time, you have hours during the course of a day for this type of conversation, and you're not creating content that could be used over and over again, it's because you have deeper issues. It doesn't matter if you're a man or you're a woman. There are deeper issues. There are things that have happened. You've had some bad experiences. Now, and sometimes I like to be politically correct and say maybe you know someone that have had bad experiences, but I doubt it. I think it's you You've had experiences. Everyone I've spoken to that have had the time to literally come in my back channel and I speak to them on a personal one-on-one basis, either for counseling or just a short conversation, they have all admitted to being hurt by somebody, right? They all get defensive when you say, who hurt you? But then they've all admitted, every single one, and I'm talking about tons of people, right? Like literally hundreds that I've spoken to, right? They've all admitted to being hurt by somebody, a member of the opposite gender, right? So again, I played that video just to show you that yes, a man can cry. I wouldn't get on social media and cry like that. But again, I'm not in this situation. Nobody has charged me $13,000 for child support per month. You know, sometimes as a man, you get into a place and you feel like you're powerless. You feel like somebody removed your frame, right? And yes, you can break down like that. That doesn't make him feminine either, because there's no woman in that equation. There's no, like, he's not like, you can't say feminine without also referencing the corresponding masculine. I see a lot of people throwing the word around, masculine, feminine, right? If you say anything is feminine, I need you to tell me what is the masculine within that frame of reference, right? So if I'm by myself, right, yes, it's okay to say, but I just think everybody's using the word, so they're misconstruing it all over the place, right? But he got on the phone by himself and basically recorded a video for the world to see, to say, hey, I feel being taken advantage of with this $13,000, right? I wouldn't do that. Now, I can say he's in a weak moment. Obviously, it was in a weak moment, right? But he was being feminine? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because again, if you say it was being feminine, I have to ask you, feminine as against what? Feminine with respect to who's being masculine. Was he talking to his lady when he decided to start crying? There you go, right there. That's what I discourage. If you're having a conversation with a young lady who you are in a romantic relationship with, I hope you're not the one crying while she's trying to fix the issues. You get what I'm saying? That's what I would hope. I would hope that you're not the one doing the crying. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's really the point in this video. Everything else, a man crying, it doesn't mean anything. I'll cry if I feel like. If I feel like somebody, I'll cry. I just wouldn't pick up a camera and start recording for the rest of the world. But that's a different conversation entirely. That's a social media ethics, social media etiquette, social media behavior. Be careful, don't put your shit out there, because people will only drag you with it. Because we just used this video again for the 1 millionth time, if not more, right? So people will drag you with your BS. If you get on the social media and you put your worst, you should always only put your highlights to the world. I know people don't like that. People say, hey, you're a married man, how come you only post pictures of your highlights? Because that's what I want to do. Because that's the right thing to do. You put the highlights. That doesn't mean I don't have bad times. That doesn't mean I don't have momentary situations where we're not in a good place with my wife. But no, I'm supposed to show the best to the world. People say that like that's like supposed to be some kind of crime or something. No, that's the way it's supposed to be. You shouldn't put your worst moment on social media in front of the world to see either. You shouldn't either, okay? So anyway, yes, there are biological differences. That's a fact of life, right? Yes, there are. 1 second, let me just make sure I turn that off. Yes, there are psychosocial differences. That's a real life thing. Stop coming up with all kind of research bullshit about how men and women are the same. We don't need to be the same. What we should be focused on is what are the strengths and weaknesses of both sides, so we can come together, complement each other, build a life together in a romantic context, right? When you've had bad romantic experiences, that's why you're engaged in this conversation in a very toxic manner. And of course, you can find real data to justify any bullshit, right? Of course you can. Very sad.